2025, Good Morning Football flew to Philadelphia to begin the season, the journey to what we look at now, which is the New England Patriots facing the Seattle Seahawks, which I really have to say with oomph because of what we watched go down last night in Seattle. That is your Super Bowl matchup. Maybe we will do it again next year, Kyle. We'll run it back, and wherever we do the show from will be the winner, those who will be hoisting their banner above their fans to start next season. But we have one more game left to play. Let's see how we got there on Sunday night.
Yeah, let's go to the season opener next year. Let's hope 5 seconds after we get there, no one gets their face spit in.
Yeah,
all right,
let's do that.
Here we go. We're going to Seattle, Lumen Field. You might know this is the 3rd time the Rams and Seahawks have played. Here we go. Here we go. This game's so exciting. I'm so fired up about it. All right, early on. Oh, my God. Kenneth Walker was so good. He's a fantastic player who now has 2 weeks to rest those legs, and they really leaned on him. No Charbonnet in this game, but there's a touchdown there, 2-yard rushing touchdown. He had 3 last week. Second quarter now. Matt touchdown, Kyron Williams. Stafford fired up, wants to get back to that Super Bowl so bad. McVay was as emotional as I have ever seen him in any game. He was great. Puka was great. Devontae was great. All across the board, it was everything you could want. It was an all hands on deck. Look at JSN. He's in the backfield. They lose him. I thought Brady broke this down really well, and he just gets the easiest touchdown you're ever going to get from a player of that caliber. Stafford can't believe it. Maybe he could, though. Look at those fans, because just prior to that, they had thrown to Jake Bobo, his 4th catch of the season. Not the postseason, guys. The season. Ensuing Rams drive, though, what an incredible answer. Stafford's like, no big deal. Crazy fumble and a Bobo touchdown. I'm going right to Devontae, who had another massive catch on that grab. Again, McVay, so emotional. Wait till you hear him after the game. It's great to call his name in a huge game. Cooper going back to an even huger game. But again, now the Rams down 11. Massive part of this game on a 3rd and 12. It's incomplete. They're screwed, right? Well, no. Watch what happens. Reek Woolen on the sideline does this filibuster taunting where the officials warned him, and they're like, we have to flag you, dude. We have rules to enforce. So on a 4th and 12, they hand him a 1st down, and there is no one in the world happier than for a touch. It was the worst 60 seconds a defensive back has ever had in the history of the sport, ever, including like an animated conversation on the sideline with his teammates who were probably like, what are you doing, Reek? He's like, I don't know. But here we go on a 4th and 1. Down 4, Stafford doing hero stuff. McVay, absolutely riveted. They eat up a lot. Nada, zip, Bubkiss. Bubkiss, not Budkiss. Bubkiss. Look at McVay, face in the call sheet. And now Seahawks looking to run out the clock, up 4, 3rd and 8. Darnold, Cooper. All kinds of things happen on this play. Does he get the 1st down? Is it a fumble? McVay, very animated. They say no fumble, and they say 1st down. Fresh set of downs. So the Seahawks get to spend more clock. Cooper sacks him immediately. The Seahawks don't really care because they're just spinning clock. So the Rams get the ball back, and with 10 seconds left, they already threw 1 to Puka. Now they're going to try to get to Puka. Puka was not out of bounds. McVay knows. Reek Woolen goes over to shake his hand. Look at this, though. He's down. That's the game. That's the season. The Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl. Now, if he was out of bounds, they would have had the ball at the 50. He'd throw a Hail Mary. It's not like they were assured of a win or anything, but it was a really clutch play and an accurate call. And, oh, my God, look at that image. Sam Darnold is going to the Super Bowl. And he's going to the Super Bowl on the strength of 346 yards and 3 touchdowns. Both quarterbacks were almost identical performances, but only one of them won afterwards. Let's go to Stacey Dales with Sam Darnold.
It was the best game of your career, and you've had a bunch of great games. What is your reaction? You're headed to the Super Bowl.
It's unbelievable. It hasn't really sunk in yet, but I'm sure tonight and tomorrow it will a little bit. But it's just so fun to be able to play football with these guys. The locker room that we have, it's unlike anywhere I've ever been, and just a special group. No matter what happens on the field, it's always this complimentary football type deal that we do. And we've talked about it all year, how resilient we are, and that showed up again today.
It's a team win. Special teams had to pick it up. The drive at the end on offense was just tremendous. I thought Clint called a great game, and then you can't talk about the game without talking about our quarterback. I mean, he just shut a lot of people up tonight, so I'm really happy for him.
Manta and I were just talking about how well Fox covered the post game for all these guys. Sam Darnold, when he was approached by the reporters after the game, he couldn't not talk about the group that he made it here with. Super Bowl 60 is set, and it's quarterback by that man right there. Now, we're going to talk about the AFC side and how much that quarterback needed help, but arguably best performance out of Darnold, and the Seahawks needed it to reach a Super Bowl, Manta.
Yeah, and let's just say this, guys. If Sam Darnold plays like that in the Super Bowl, the Seahawks will win the Super Bowl, and it won't be close, because what they have over there in Seattle, KB, you said it last week, it's a special group. It's a special band of guys that are coming together, and I thought that the way that Sam Darnold played yesterday was special. The thing that really impressed me about Sam Darnold was this: he's decisive. He was very, very decisive yesterday. Screw all the stats, screw all the times that I saw this guy make decisions pre-snap and post-snap. The scramble where he told Kenneth Walker to block the guy so I can run for the first down. If Sam Darnold really continues to play like this in 2 weeks, the Seattle Seahawks will hoist that banner. Hopefully, we'll be in Seattle for that home opener next year that we talked about earlier in this show. But I was very, very impressed. It was fitting the way that he played, knowing his journey, the trajectory, being drafted first overall, goes through all of that bull, and then comes out on the other end. And in his post-game comments, he mentioned it was just one play at a time. That's Sam Darnold's formula. It's just one play at a time. I may throw a pick, I may throw a touchdown, but it's the same approach for the next play, so I was very impressed with it.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. You talk about the journey, and the journey was and has been impressive, but he hasn't been able to do it without the run game and this offensive line. I thought Kenneth Walker, especially going into this game and this offensive line, they were explosive. They were gritty. They had a 100 line. Kenneth Walker, they just kept being a more physical outfit. They're being more relentless. And Sam Darnold just did what Sam Darnold needed to do: find the open receiver and complete passes, man. This isn't about the Seahawks team arriving. They understand the assignment. They have to get to the Super Bowl, and they're going to win it. And they're doing it with Sam Darnold, a run game and a defense. KB, Cancun is going to have to wait. They're going to the Super Bowl.
You know it. It's crazy that the Rams aren't, and that's just the nature of these playoffs and the stakes of them. The Rams are so good, and their roster is so good, and their quarterback and their coach, like, that is an excellent, excellent team, and they're not going. Seattle Seahawks are. I am the same place as everywhere else. So, like, I'm sitting here this morning. I do this for a living. I cover this years and years and years. I know all the players and all the storylines. And Sam Darnold is starting the Super Bowl. It's an insane, really cool, don't get me wrong, very positive thing. And he's fantastic. Fantastic. He led from the front. He was passing late when maybe it was wiser to run. And this is now a guy who's on his 15. Guys on their 15 do not start Super Bowls. It's happened 3 times in history. It hasn't happened since Chris Chandler on the Falcons. Think about the company that he's in. I was at Josh. It's insane. This is why we love this stuff. Sam Darnold, who just 20 minutes ago was getting divorced from the Carolina Panthers and was sitting on the sideline for the Niners and was dumped by the Vikings for 9, is now standing above all those guys. There's 3 MVPs there. There's a guy who won a playoff game with the Browns, which might as well be a Super Bowl. And they're all looking up at Sam Darnold holding that NFC trophy. It's amazing. Sam Darnold, you're going to get talked about a lot in the next 2 weeks. People may get sick of Sam Darnold. Too bad. That's not your choice. Great dude. And never mind how good of a dude he is and how good of a teammate is. We talked about that for years. Right now, he's an excellent player. Purely between the lines. I'm happy for him. I cannot wait to watch this Super Bowl. We got a lot to talk about in the AFC because that one was weird. And I know there are people out there being like, can we do Rams Seahawks for a 4th time, please? No, that's not the way it works. The Rams are out. Believe me, I just started my comments saying how amazing they are. They don't get to play. They're out.
Well, we're talking about, our love and our support for Sam Darnold, but that's been the tone at which everybody, especially those that are on the Seahawks, have set since the beginning of the season. I remember when Ernest Jones, after the first time they played the Rams and Sam Darnold goes and throws 4 picks and Ernest Jones comes to the defense of his quarterback and says, that's my quarterback. Well, Ernest Jones had this to say after the performance that his quarterback had yesterday.
I mean, Sam's been balling. Like, if we want to try to define Sam by this game, Sam's had us in every game. So for him to sit there and say, oh, that's my fault. No, it's not. There was plays that defensively we could have made plays. There were opportunities where we could have got better stops. Yeah, it's football, man. And he's our quarterback. We got his back. And you got anything to say, quite frankly, you. everything that I said, stood on it. Sam, what he had, like 300-some yards? Hooping. Sam's a baller, like I said, man. Doubt Sam if you want to. Sam's gonna show up every time, and that's what we known, and that's why I stood on that night for him, and I'll do it all over again.
Incredible words from Ernest Jones, a star of that defense. Let's just take a beat on that Seahawks defense for a second. Coached up by Mike Macdonald, a young and incredibly impressive defensive-minded head coach in the NFL. Now becomes the third youngest coach to earn his way into a Super Bowl spot behind Sean McVay and Mike Tomlin. Great company to be a part of. And not only is that player standing up for his quarterback, but on the sideline, as we mentioned, there was some chirping that happened that ended up getting penalized late in the game. To have that go down with those players on the sideline, and to have a rookie and Nick Emanwari to be the one to stand up and say, guys, lock it up. Like, that is an incredible mark of what Mike Macdonald has been able to do for this Seahawks defense, man.
Yeah, they've been dominant, James, not only just schematically, but last night you kept hearing Tom Brady said this is the most man coverage they've ever run. They usually run zone. Now, this is an important fact about that, is when you run, there are two different types of defenses. You either run man or you run zone, and they're different schematics, and it's different personnel. When you run zone coverage, if you look at Seattle Seahawks defense that does run zone, they're a lot bigger, right? So they take up a lot more space. And when you assume that guys who have that type of stature, they don't have the athleticism to run man. But to your point yesterday, Jamie, you saw Nick Emanwari playing man coverage on Puka Nacua. Then he went to play man coverage on Devontae Adams. And then he's also in the run game, a lot like Kyle Hamilton and the Baltimore Ravens. And so I was very, very impressed with how this defense, who usually runs zone, had the athleticism to play man-on-man coverage with the most explosive offense in the NFL. And if they're able to make that transition, I don't know what else this defense can do.
We'll get into what the Ravens did over the weekend, all right? But we are talking Super Bowl matchup. We are heading straight into Super Bowl week. Next week, which means NFL Honors presented by Invisalign, is right around the corner.